Hey everyone, this is Mason. Just a quick shout out and a huge thank you to all of our HerbRally Schoolhouse members. Your support is so appreciated, and it helps us keep the lights on, as they say, here at both HerbRally and the podcast. If you'd like to support our podcast by becoming a member of the HerbRally Schoolhouse, you can do so for only $10 per month. You can try your first 30 days for free with coupon code PODCAST at checkout, and you can learn more and register at herbally.com/schoolhouse. And in addition, members get access to exclusive videos, classes, audio and monographs, a private Facebook group, discounts to herbal companies, and more. So one more time, learn more at herbally.com/schoolhouse. And don't forget to use the coupon code PODCAST at checkout to get your first 30 days for free. One more time, a huge thanks to all of our HerbRally Schoolhouse members. Now on to the show. Enjoy.
Hi, so my name is Abigail Hollis. I am a community herbalist and I own the business Apothecary. And so my website is www.apothecary.com, and you can find me on Instagram at Apothecary and Facebook as well. And we're going to do some Ask an Herbalist questions.
How did you first get interested in herbal medicine?
Yeah, so like a lot of people, I think I have a family who practiced in their own way herbal medicine, folk medicine. So it turns out that my great-grandmother on my mother's side was something of a medicine woman just for her family and like her local community. And she would always have tinctures on hand, and she would do different remedies for illnesses. And it kind of skipped a generation, but my mother always did similar things growing up, and she would grow plants and make loose leaf teas. And so that was kind of my introduction. And then I started studying it a little deeper when I was in grad school. I was just going through a lot, and I started getting introduced to the natural health world, and herbalism seemed like the way I was going to get through all the challenges that I was currently facing, and that's what brought me deeper into it and brought me to where I am now. Yeah.
Do you have any advice on working the business side of herbalism?
Yeah, so I like this question because I'm a new herbal business owner. I've only had my business for like a little over a year, and I think that what I would have liked to know before starting the business is just be as comfortable as you'd like to be in your herbal practice before turning it into a business. And if you feel like you need to slow down and do some things for yourself or go deeper into the herbal learning and the herbal practice before expanding your business, then do that. But for me, it's about being really comfortable in my foundation as far as herbalism goes, and that's kind of why I'm slowing down even right now so I can dive deeper into that. But I think that's more important than even the business aspect, because you can always learn that and you can keep learning that as you go along. But I think being in a good place as an herbalist before going on to the business portion is a really good idea.
Yeah, what is the first plant you remember having a relationship with as a kid?
Yeah, so part of the herbal tradition that I've come up through is spiritual herbalism. And so really like some of the first plants that I had relationships with as a child, it wasn't even taking them medicinally, but it was just like being in community with these plants and being in that energy. And so in my backyard in Memphis, Tennessee, we had a huge honeysuckle bush, and it was just like my favorite plant. And we would take the little, like the sweet part in the center, we would peel that and take a little bit of that. But other than that, we weren't using it as teas or making extracts or anything like that. We were just kind of like hanging out with the plants, and it brought this sweetness to my youth. And I can still remember that energy just kind of infusing those years when I lived in Memphis. Yeah.
Qualified as a herbalist.
Yeah, so like I mentioned, had a little bit of a background in folk medicine just coming down through my family, and then I started studying it, just self-study for a few years. And then I came to the place where I was like, I think I really want to deepen my study and deepen my practice. And so I did, at the time it kind of felt like a capstone, but I did an online mentorship. And then after that, I felt comfortable calling myself an herbalist. So it had been like several years of kind of hodgepodge studying, and then that online capstone. And then from there, I felt comfortable calling myself an herbalist, but I also felt like I know I need to continue to study, and I know I need to either like look for someone to apprentice under or just do some more like work in an herb shop, those kinds of things. And I feel like it's an ongoing, for me at this point, it's an ongoing process of like, yes, I feel comfortable calling myself a community herbalist, and at the same time, I feel like I need study in these areas, and so I'm increasing my practice. But I think that you can call yourself an herbalist at any point when you've really committed to the process. It's just like, what do you communicate to people as far as what do you do and who you are as an herbalist and what you do within your practice. And you're not going to claim to know everything or be a master herbalist or be a clinical herbalist if you haven't done the clinical training and practice, but you know, you can be an herbalist at any step of the way.
What is your favorite or some of your favorite resources for learning herbalism?
Yeah, so as far as resources for learning herbalism, I just want to mention some Black women herbalists who I've been fortunate to be able to either read their books or hear them speak or train under them. So Karen M. Rose wrote Spiritual Herbalism, and she published that recently. She's a master herbalist up in Brooklyn, and so I'm trained in her tradition. I trained under one of her students, Salima Harleston Lust, and so she has a YouTube channel and she has an Instagram. So her company is I Will a Remedy, and she publishes posts a lot of educational content surrounding herbalism. And Lucretia Van Dyke just wrote a book, recently published that, and that's out. And Stephanie Rose Bird also. So she's one of the first authors I read about who talks about some traditional African-American herbalism, and she talks about like people who traditionally been thought to be able to communicate with trees and just all kinds of excellent things from that tradition. And also Michelle E. Lee, who wrote Work in the Roots. So I just wanted to really highlight some of those African-American women authors because I think they're incredibly important. And so I also study traditional Western herbalism and some other things, but it's been really important for me to incorporate those teachings into my herbal practice as well. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining me. Again, my name is Abigail Hollis, and you can find me at amaapothecary.com.
And that's going to do it for today's episode. Thanks so much for listening to the HerbRally podcast. If you'd like to hear more from us here at HerbRally, we now have a text message community, believe it or not. Basically, it's just updates from us. We send about 1 to 7 texts per week, notifying you about new events, videos, courses, podcasts. You get the idea. It's pretty much like our email newsletter, just in text form. So if you'd like to receive text messages from HerbRally, just text JOIN, that's JOIN, to the number 541-256-2895. Again, that's JOIN to number 541-256-2895. And to stop receiving texts, that's easy too. Just text STOP to the same number. It'll opt you out immediately. Okay, thanks again for listening. Have a great rest of your day.